Ypresiomyrma. Ypresiomyrma is an extinct genus of ants in the subfamily Myrmeciinae that was described in 2006. There are 4 species described. The queens of this genus are large, the mandibles are elongated, and the eyes are well developed. A stinger is also present. The behavior of these ants would have been similar to that of extant Myrmeciinae ants, such as solitary foraging for arthropod prey and never leaving pheromone trails. The alates were poor flyers due to their size, and birds and animals most likely preyed on these ants. Ypresiomyrma is not assigned to any tribe and is instead generally regarded as incertae sedis within Myrmeciinae. However, some authors believe Ypresiomyrma should be assigned as incertae sedis within Formicidae. History and classification. Fossils of Ypresiomyrma were first studied and described by Bruce Archibald, Stephen Cover and Corey Morrow of the Museum of Comparative Zoology in Cambridge, Massachusetts. They published their 2006 description of the genus and species in an Annals of the Entomological Society of America journal article. The genus name is a combination of Ypresian, referring to the age of the specimens, and the Greek myrmex, meaning ant. The minimum fossil age is approximately 54.5 to 55.5 million years. Along with the genus description, the paper contained descriptions of the type species Ypresiomyrma orbiculata and Ypresiomyrma bartletii, both from the McAbee Fossil Beds Tranquil Formation in British Columbia, part of the Eocene-Okanagan Highlands Lake System. Archibald, Cover and Morrow also included a redescription of the Danish species Pachycondylar rebecki under the new name combination Ypresiomyrma rebecki. A 4th species, Ypresiomyrma orientalis, was described in 2015. Archibald and colleagues originally classified Ypresiomyrma as incertae sedis Latin, for of uncertain placement, within the ant subfamily Myrmeciinae, as the ants could not be identified to any tribe level. However, a 2008 paper by Cesare Baroni Urbani of the University of Basel, Switzerland, expressed doubt that members of Ypresiomyrma were even ants. He notes that the development of the malar area and area between the compound eyes and the mandibles was different and not reduced, as a reduced malar is synapomorphic key diagnostic traits in Myrmeciinae. Baroni Urbani further notes that the antennae's shape on the type species could not be properly determined, making its true placement within Formicidae indeterminable. However, the antennae of Y. rebecki has an elongated scape, which means the fossil is definitely an ant, as this feature is a key diagnostic trait for Formicidae. Due to this, Baroni Urbani believed that Ypresiomyrma could only be confidently classified as incertae sedis within the family Formicidae. A subsequent report by Russian paleoentomologist Gennady M. Lusky describing new Myrmeciines accepted the classification of Archibald and colleagues, without mentioning the comments of Baroni Urbani. The following cladogram, generated by Archibald and colleagues, show the possible phylogenetic position of Ypresiomyrma among some ants of the subfamily Myrmeciinae. The genus may be closely related to other extinct Myrmeciinae genera, including Avatomyrmex and McAbee and the extant Nothomyrmecia macrops. Description. There are several characteristics that separate Ypresiomyrma from other ant genera. The waist connecting the thorax and the abdomen in Ypresiomyrma is composed of a single segment. The head in each species varies in shape, and mandibles are a distinct triangular shape and shorter than the head capsule with 8 to 12 teeth, although they are elongated. Queens of the genus are large, measuring over 20 mm (0.79 in). Other characters include large, well-developed eyes, a rounded propodal dorsum, and a noticeable stinger. Y. orbiculata, 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 orbiculata. Y. orbiculata was described from a single part and counterpart compression, fossil found at the Middle Ypresian McAbee Fossil Beds, Kamloops Group, near Cache Creek, British Columbia. The type specimens numbered Uxipper elminis 18F-749 and Uxipper elminis 18F-750 for the part, and counterpart is currently preserved in the Paleoentomology Co. Archibald, Cover and Morau coined the specific epithet from the Latin orbiculatus, meaning rounded or circular, in reference to the shape of the head. The species is discernible from the other two species of Ypresiomyrma by its notably rounded head capsule and by the shape of the petiole, which has a smoothly sloping convex shape with a node in the center. The petiole is similar in appearance to Prionomymex janseni, and the propodium is round. The queen is estimated to have been approximately 25 millimeters, 0.98 in. The compound eyes are large and oval shape, but the antennae cannot be described due to poor preservation. The mandibles are large, containing 7 to 8 teeth. A well-developed stinger is also present. Y. bartolti. The second species described from the McAbee Fossil Beds is Y. bartolti, which, like Y. orbiculata, is known from a single queen specimen. The holotype part and counterpart are included in the Geological Survey of Canada, Ottawa collections as GSC 127,632 and GSC 127,632. The shape of the head is subtriangular, which separates it from Y. orbiculata, and at an estimated 20 millimeters (0.79), the petiole shape in Y. bartolti is distinct from both other species. The specific epithet was chosen in honor of Rod Bartlett, who collected the specimen, and to honor his work with the Vancouver Paleontological Society and the British Columbia Paleontological Alliance. The antennae are not preserved, and the eyes cannot be distinguished. The mandibles have around 10 or fewer teeth. The forewings of the queen are faintly preserved, and portions of the legs are preserved and disarticulated. Some portions of the gaster are deformed and the specimen appears to be crushed, but the overall morphology of this species justifies its placement within Myrmeciinae. An undescribed worker in the form genus Myrmeciates may possibly be a Y. bartolti ant, but this cannot be confirmed due to its poor preservation. Y. rebeccae. This species is known from over 100 specimens collected from the earliest Ypresian ulst and fir formations found in calcareous rocks. The specimens were first studied and described by Jess Rust and N. Mahler Anderson in 1999, and they named the species for Rebecca Madsen, who collected the type specimen in September 1994. The holotype and paratype queen described are well preserved, although the legs are missing, the part and counterpart. G. McNo, 1995-8b and G. McNo, 1995-8 are deposited in the Geological Museum of the University of Copenhagen. At that time, Rust and Anderson placed the species into the modern Ponrin genus Pachycondyla based on the shape of the abdominal segment (VI) and lack of dentition on the mandibles. Archibald, Cover and Morau moved the species to Ypresiomyrma based on the similarity to the McAbee species by the shape of the abdominal segment III, which differs from that found in the Ponrinae subfamily genera, and by the morphology of the petiole. Y. rebeccae can be distinguished from other species by the shape of its petiole and the size of its head, being notably larger than Y. bartolti. The ant's somewhat angular. The species is known almost exclusively from queens, with only one known male and assigned to it by Rust and Anderson. The average length of a queen is around 25 millimeters (0.98 in), with a robust body. The head is round, and the width and length are the same, measuring 4.5 millimeters (0.18 in). The eyes are oval-shaped and developed, located near the middle of the head. The mandibles are triangular and long with 10 teeth present. The antennae are long with 11 segments, and the scape is 3.4 millimeters (0.13 in) long. The mesosoma is 7 millimeters (0.28 in) long and 4.5 millimeters (0.18 in) wide. The mesosoma is convex and domed, and the pronotum is short. The petiole is 1.5 millimeters (0.59 in) long and 2.3 millimeters (0.91 in) wide, and the gaster is swollen, but this is due to the early taphonomic process, the transition of a decaying organism over time and how it becomes fossilized. A well-developed stinger is present in the fossilized specimens. Only a single complete male is known from all the collected specimens. The body length is shorter in comparison to the queen cast, measuring 25 mm 0.98 in, and it is also more slender. The head and mandibles are small, but the eyes are fully developed and large. The antennae are not preserved, and only small fragments of the legs are present. The gaster is smaller and more elongated, but the genitalia are not preserved. Y. orientalis. Y. orientalis was described from a part and counterpart holotype and a solitary four-wing paratype compression fossil found at the late Eocene Bol'shaya Svetlovodnaya fossil site in the Sukhot-Alin area of far eastern Russia. The type specimens numbered PIN 3429/1109 for the part and counterpart, and PIN 3429/1198 are currently preserved in the A.A. Myrmeciinae Paleontological Institute fossil collections of the Russian Academy of Sciences. Vlusky, Rasnitsin, and Perfileva coined the specific epithet from the Latin orientalis, meaning eastern, in reference to the type locality. The species is discernible from Y. rebecki by its smaller petiole node size. While there are no distinct differences between Y. orientalis and the two Okanagan highlands species Y. bartletii and Y. orbiculata, the fossils were placed into a new species by Vlusky, Rasnitsin, and Perfileva. This is due to the notable time difference between the highlands and Bol'shaya Svetlovodnaya. Though the possible gyn is incomplete, the estimated body length is 17.5 mm 0.69 in, and the mesosoma is robust. The forewing has closed 1+2 3er Aram and Miku cells, with the 3er elongated while the 1+2er is shorted to just over twice as long as wide. Ecology. The life habits of Ypresiomyrma would have been similar to that of extant Myrmeciinae ants. Colonies nested in the soil or in trees, making them an arboreal nesting species. Workers were most likely solitary foragers, foraging on the ground or onto low vegetation and trees while preying on arthropods or consuming nectar. Workers most likely did not recruit or lead nestmates to food sources, nor did workers lay down pheromone trails. Ypresiomyrma ants most likely used their large eyes to find prey and for navigational purposes. The abundance of Ypresiomyrma queens collected suggests that these ants mated in swarms, but the alates were poor flyers due to their large size. The morphology of the mandibles indicate they were specialized tools for excavating chambers in soil or wood during colony foundation. Their large size and common occurrence in their geographical range would mean they were an important food source to a variety of birds and paleogene animals that predominantly fed on insects.